Hello everyone, and welcome along to your immediate post-match reaction to Rangers 4, Alloa Athletic 2, here from Ibrox. I'm joined by Iain Mitchell on what has been a very warm day here at Ibrox.
Nice.
Not often you can sit in the sunshine in a short sleeve t-shirt watching Rangers win. Probably wasn't the most comfortable game, or I don't think we've had any comfortable games so far this season, but this was one that we perhaps hoped would be, and it definitely wasn't. We'll come into that, but Iain, sum up your thoughts and feelings after that game for me if you can.
I'm not going to go too far because we won, we got through, but I wanted more. I wanted a clean sheet. Yes, we got the goals, but came a little bit too late for me, and overall it just doesn't do enough to give you that positive, like, right, that's what I need to see, that's what Russell Martin needs to see, get fans back on board kind of thing. And if I don't think it was a struggle today at any point. I didn't think, we might go out the cup here, but 3-2, 88th minute, you never know what can happen. And to give away two really poor, really typical Rangers goals kind of thing, it's just it's not quite the exciting day I thought we were going to have, sadly. So still a lot of work to be done, albeit there's guys playing there that I don't think have much of a Rangers future. I don't think that's harsh to say in any way. And there's certain guys on there who haven't done anything to change that opinion, but there's still just so much to do with this squad, and Russell Martin needs to be getting a lot more out of certain players to make this successful. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, we can delve into, we won't delve into it moment by moment. We can delve into some of the bigger moments of the game, and especially some of the moments that we saw positives in, and some of the ones that we saw negatives in as well. Starting lineup was quite a hard one to figure out as to who was going to play where. Bailey Rice ended up starting at left back. We saw Danilo up front, and Mikey Moore made his debut as well. First 20 minutes or so, I thought we were playing the way I expect us to play under Russell Martin. That's the way I expected us to play last week against Dundee. It's the way I expect us to play today. We did it for that first 20-25 minutes, but it seemed to be that was the only time that we managed it. Nadim Barami, I found to be really impressive today. You get man of the match in the stadium, and Mikey Moore as well. They two of them linked up particularly well, I thought. Can you just give me your impression, I guess, of Mikey Moore and his debut? Just turned 18 earlier on in the week. Maybe not he's not in there playing with our full strongest starting lineup around him, so that's probably got to be taken into account. But what did you make of his first game for Rangers?
Like you say, I thought he started very well. It was very positive. It was very direct. He looked just confident. It's something this squad doesn't have enough of. Guys that will be like, give me the ball, let me go and do something, let me try something. Like you say, linked up with Bayrami really well. Probably not a guy who'll play alongside a lot this season, has to be said, but done well. It was a confusing one for me because I mentioned it to you mid-game. I thought he started off really well, but he was still getting quite a lot of, like, Russell Martin was shouting at him a lot to maybe stay wider, and I don't know, just especially the second half, he just fizzled out a little bit. And don't get me wrong, this is his first appearance for Rangers. It's his first game, new teammates, new environment, all this stuff for a guy who's just under 18. So you're not going to put too much pressure on him. But I think he done fine. Fizzled out in the end, but that could have been fitness, that could have been a few things. So promising. And as you say, that first 20 minutes, I think we were all sitting here thinking, yes, this is what we want to see. This is good. You get the goal, and just typical Rangers fashion, he sort of foot off the gas a little bit, and things just get a little bit slower from that point on.
Yeah, I think what I really enjoyed about the first 20-25 minutes was the variety of our approach play, to sort of breaking down that low block that Alloa had. Very much different way of approaching it to what we saw last week against Dundee. That was very tedious way, a very one-dimensional way of approaching it. Joe Rothwell, I thought, was key to it today.
That was very good.
The variety of his passing, whether it was that through ball in between the centre halves and the wide players, or the sort of small lofty ball over the top. I thought he was really good in terms of even the pace at which he was trying to dictate the play.
Exactly
that. I thought that was really different to what we've seen even from him in previous games. Do you feel like that's what we need to see more of?
I think it's so key in any Russell Martin team that your number 6 is a guy who can do that, because he gets so many touches of the ball. It's very easy for him to play safe and just put it back to the centre backs, keep it safe, all this kind of stuff. But if he's getting his head up, driving forward, And don't get me wrong, I think you need the runners to do that, and that's what Moore and Bayrami were doing really well, because how many times did he play the ball this side compared to where Dowell and Cortez was? Yes, it's a harder pass move for the right foot on. It's just so easy to sweep it down here compared to curling it that way. But if the space is there, he's shown he can find that pass. And like you say with Dundee, we just didn't see that. Whether that was the attacker's fault, him being too safe, probably a combination of the two for me, but much better for him today. And I think I'm not going to jump too far ahead, but there's quite a noticeable drop-off when he left the pitch and got replaced, because we just didn't have a guy controlling things the way he was for that first half.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. We will be keeping an eye on the Premier Sports Cup quarter-final draw. From what I'm seeing, it seems to be Rangers versus Livingston or Hibs. Before we get back to the match then, what's your reaction to that, Iain?
I don't mind it. I mean, it's a strange competition this year already. In
probably rather Livingston over Hibs, to be fair.
You would rather Livingston, obviously, but we seem to do okay against Hibs. They do try and play a bit. This has gone back to pre-Russell Martin, obviously, so don't get me wrong, Hibs are a good side this season, and that will be tricky whether it's home or away. So maybe not the ideal draw, but it could have got worse.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been serenaded by all sorts of music and singing from the background, so I don't know if any of that is coming through. But yeah, Iain, back to the game. We seem to, like you say, we're 1-0 up. A wonderful goal from Rami. Doesn't do anywhere near enough of that. If we're honest, we need to see much more. I think, like I said earlier, I think his One Cup play with Mikey Moore was really positive and really good. But after his goal, it was a bit foot off the gas. We just kind of seemed
typical Rangers.
Kind of seemed to slow down a little bit. Weren't really creating a huge number of chances. Danilo was really struggling up front again, just non-existent.
Wasn't it?
And to be honest, you can almost forgive him for being non-existent against a better team, against a team like, let's say, Victoria Pilsen, but they were rubbish. Maybe Panathinaikos away, that kind of game.
Sure,
you can maybe say, okay, he's going to try and link up the play, but in terms of in front of goal, you're then relying on your wide guys like Gassama, like Ant-Man did in that game to come through. In a game like this, he should be dominating those centre halves really, and he should be really making his mark on the game, and we're just not. Not.
This is a guy that cost us close to £5 or £6 million.
Yeah,
like, it's not good enough to not be in a game like this. And he's had injuries. He's maybe still working his way back to form. There's a few excuses you can try and give, but he played 70 odd minutes there. Can you remember anything he done? There was a shot wide in the second half. There was a couple of scuff chances in the first, but he's got to be doing more. He's got to be moving more, being available more, linking the play more, and just wasn't involved enough for me at all. And it's quite sad because he done the press conference. There's a few tweets from Rangers in the build-up about he's ready to impose himself. He's ready to get involved. He's this, he's that. But if he can't do it against Alloa, couldn't do it much this season already. It's just a bit of a shame, really. It's a big problem we've got on this side, the striker position.
Yeah, and as we took our foot off the gas going forward, we returned to the shambles defensively, which saw Alloa equalise. We were in complete control up until that point. We didn't see it coming, and then we were masters of our own downfall. Yet again, felt like that goal could have been stopped about 4 or 5 times at least before it hit the back of the net. The biggest one you're looking at is Bailey Rice, I think, at left back. He just gave up, it looked like. And what did you make of that? What did you make of that goal, and how many of your worries or fears, I guess, about the way we play, what you've seen in the early part of the season, that were just compounded by watching that goal?
Yeah. I mean, this is against a League One side, obviously, right? So they're not full of quality. They're not full of a great attacking threat. But it's Jigger who gives the ball away and stays down, which, he could have been hurt. Of course he could, but he's up quite after it. Yeah, he's playing for the foul, and so get yourself up and get back in, because there's plenty of time between him giving the ball away. I think it then breaks, and Rice could take the yellow. Don't get me wrong, I'm not screaming that he should be taking a yellow against Alloa in the first half. I think we have enough to keep going, but he loses out that first challenge. He gets himself back in, and as you say, it giving up might seem and sound a bit harsh, but that's how it looked. He put half.
And I get they can't go diving in when it's in the penalty box, and he doesn't want to give away a penalty. But
either stand up and kind of deflect that away, get your foot in front of the ball. But he just sort of leans in as if he's about to tackle and doesn't, and then just walks back. And Bailey Rice is a very talented footballer. He's very good at passing the ball. He's got a lot of ball control that you want to see. But if you can't put in the effort and the dirty side of the game, you're not going to make it anywhere. And don't get me wrong, it's one incident, but it's maybe I think why he's not trusted as such to play as much as he could. So yeah. Don't get me wrong, there's probably problems beyond that. We've not seen the goal back too often. I know it's a bit of a to and fro where the ball's coming and going and then it just goes in. So maybe we can blame other people for that, but it's just classic. One chance for the opposition and it's one each.
I think that's the real concern, isn't it? That I guess there's been all the talk about how many shots we've conceded in the game so far, and we've been so much said about how high that is compared to normal and what you would expect. But we've also still got that a team has one shot on target and they've scored against us, and we have about 10 shots a goal and we're still struggling to get one. And I think that's the worry in terms of we're not scoring enough to be as fragile at the back.
Yeah, that's one turnover of the ball. Yeah. And there's maybe 30 seconds between Jigger giving it away and the ball going in, but there's just not enough accountability to say, like, okay, that's one player out of position, let's get someone else pulled in. You stand there, let's do this. And even when the goal goes in, I don't want players fighting with each other. I don't want people in each other's faces. But at the same time, I want a bit of, like, you were wrong there, you done this wrong, let's not do that again. It's very, very basic. You would see it in amateur football, you'd see it at junior level, whereas that goes in, it's kind of heads down and, it's...
Yeah, and I think the reaction in here as well was very much like, I kind of expected that a wee bit. And that's a worry for me in itself, in terms of it's becoming the norm, so much so that it's not even, you'd expect quite a high level of rage to be coming from the stands at that point, and it wasn't. It was just like, here we go again.
Exactly, I was going to say that exact phrase. Here we go again.
Yeah, and it was. I think we definitely need to get away from that, and Russell Martin definitely needs to get away from that as well. Thankfully, we were only level for a short period of time. Manny Fernandez popping up with a header. Yep. The biggest man I may have ever seen in my life. But he was the literal definition of head and shoulders above everyone else in that box. And you said to it just before it came in, you said, put
it on his head.
Yeah, put it on Manny Fernandez's head, and that's got to be the tactic every time he's on the park. And be fair to him, he diverted the cross
good finish.
Yeah. Good finish, 2-1, and I think everyone just kind of breathed a wee bit of a sigh of relief at that point.
Yeah, it's good reaction, I guess you can say. Good free kick, good header. Football's a simple game. I said that a few times during today. You've got a guy who's close to 7 foot in the box, just put it on his head. Yeah. Like, good cross, good goal. It's the bare minimum. It's what we should be seeing a lot more of, and it is something that I think Fernandez brings to this side. We've got a few question marks of his positioning, he's on the ball. That might get better, that might come with game experience, but very simply, that's a massive threat from set pieces. And the amount of free kicks, corners, balls into the box that we get, that could be a massive key, a massive asset to this squad. So, yeah, it was nice to see. It was very basic to see, but yeah, sometimes basic is good.
Yeah, we're now being serenaded by some Natasha Bedingfield in the background, so it's I don't know if it's coming from upstairs or downstairs. I have no idea. It's definitely not coming from the dressing room. It has to be said. Second half, I guess, having had that sigh of relief, we were making a few jokes, some gallish humour about how Alloa will probably score next and make it a bit nervy. Yep. We didn't really create a huge number of chances or shots at goal, I felt, in that second half. We needed a penalty to get 3-1. It went to VAR. Obviously, penalty wasn't given in the stadium. It went to VAR. I think checking a couple of things, first to a foul and then a handball. We got given for the handball. We've not seen it back, so no idea if that's accurate or not. Got a penalty, lovely penalty from James Tavernier, and then we switched off again. That period of the game, what did you make of it?
Yeah, the first 15-20 minutes or so, I turned to you and I'm obviously sending a few tweets out as the game goes on and said, I have nothing to tweet. There is nothing's happening here. Yeah. And it's a bit of a letdown, really, because you're 2-1 up at half time. Obviously, everyone knows we're not playing great, but you'd expect Russell Martin to kind of emphasise to these guys that maybe A, B, C, you're not starting or you're not in line to start. Tuesday, next week, the Old Firm. Go and show me that you've got enough to be here.
Yeah.
Because there's so many guys in this squad that are just going through the motions too much, and maybe looking at Cortez is kind of the one that is straight in front of my mind. Saying to him, go and impose yourself, go and do something that makes the fans say, okay, I see what's here, I see what I've paid the money for. Maybe Dowell to an extent, a few more guys, but just very slow, very safe, very scared to do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Scared to make that kind of risky pass and maybe get away with it with a penalty. Like we say, we've not seen it back, but given for handball, by all means in the comments, let us know if there is an obvious penalty or not, because I would like to know. But as soon as we go 3-1 up, we do what we do. And it's just a very classic Rangers goal giveaway. Even before that, there's a few like lumped balls in the air that Alloa are just first to, and we didn't get the second ball. We're always just on our heels, always just a bit slow to react. And when you're slow going forward, it's one problem, and when you're slow to react at the back, it's totally another one. But it's a bit of a theme with this squad, really, isn't it? It's been a long-term thing.
Yeah. I just wanted to touch on Big Phil saying there that the handball was probably given because the ball was travelling goalwards, which I understand. What was interesting though, that it was Oscar Cortez who obviously had directed the ball towards goal. Russell Martin's reactions to Oscar Cortez throughout the game, really, you can tell he doesn't see Oscar Cortez as part of this Rangers team going forward. He doesn't see Oscar Cortez as part of this Rangers squad going forward. And when you've just spent £4 million on someone less than a month ago, and your manager's reacting that way, it tells its own story, I guess. What did you make of that? Because we pointed out fairly early in the game, and it just continued the whole time. Yeah,
Russell Martin is very vocal. Where I normally sit is directly across the stadium, so I don't see it too often. But when you're in this gantry position and you're sort of looking down on the pitch, Russell Martin is non-stop. He's always directing. He's always trying to move people about and reaffirm things to people, which I think is good. I think it's maybe overkill at times because you do need to give people some freedom. But with Cortez, there's a lot of like arms in the air. There's a lot of exasperation. There's a lot of, it looks like Cortez is either not listening or just doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And maybe it's against Cortez. He's playing like right wing. He's right in front of Russell Martin. But even in the first half, he's the opposite end of the pitch, and you can see, I think it was right early on, both him and the coaches are just going crazy. I think it was Cortez to stay out wide, and he kept being in the wrong place and doing the wrong thing. And this is a guy who's going to be really low in confidence, really not assured of himself. I totally get that, but if you're not doing the basic things that your manager's asking for you, you're not then going to get more chances. And I think it's quite telling that Finlay Curtis comes on, gets a goal. I saw a few tweets already saying, well, why is Curtis not getting the start? And this might have just been Cortez's like last chance to show you can do something here, and he's just not taking it again. And again, it was back to that point earlier. If you can't take that chance against Alloa, when you're going to take it? We're not going to trust you in the big games, in the European nights. You're not going to get near the pitch. So, another sort of letdown individual performance there.
Yeah. Russell Martin's just currently finishing his press conference there. We've got some comments that we can speak about in a minute or two. But just touching on, as you said, 3-1, took foot off the gas again. Then we went 3-2 with 10 minutes left. I don't know who I'm referring to. Another set piece, Iain.
Yep.
I am, having seen how we defended them against Dundee last week, I was really concerned.
Yep.
Now it's at a critical level, I think, in terms of how bad we are at defending set pieces against what we're going to come up against in the league, who will at every opportunity try and take advantage of set pieces against us.
Yeah.
In any other season, never mind the season where we're weak at defending them. How much of a concern is that for you, and how much of a concern was that second Alloa goal?
Yeah, it's massive, especially considering like this is Alloa today, and I get there's a standard drop off between like the Premier League teams we play, but it's that same style that we'll come up against more often than not, where they'll play for free kicks, play for corners, and you feel it in Ibrox. As soon as we give away a corner or a set piece down in this sort of corner, everyone thinks, oh God, here we go. And if we think that, players think that, goalie thinks that, it's just accountability for me, because everyone should have a man, but what we do is a very kind of hybrid thing of a little bit of man marking, a little bit of zone marking, and for me that just leaves these questions of, well, whose man was that? Should I have been with you?
People could get away without taking responsibility.
Exactly.
And we spoke about that in a lot of other parts of play as well. When we had possession around the edge of the box, people were just, instead of taking responsibility with the ball at their feet and taking a shot or taking a man on, they were just
You do it.
You do it. You see if you get more space.
You can't play for this club with that mentality, and I think that's the massive main issue for me, is that players don't have that. Either give me the ball and I'll do something, or this is my man, he's not scoring.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that for me, because that's two. I was going to say two headers, but it's two first contacts in a way, because decent cross in, kind of close to Liam Kelly. He's not known for his.
He's not the tallest goalkeeper.
He's not very commanding, obviously, as well. But you don't win that first header. Maybe get away with that. I thought that should be the goal. Like, it comes off the bar, just drops to someone with a tap in. Yes, it can happen. It's a bit of luck on their side, but we allow that. The guy's got plenty of space. He's standing on the goal line. That's got to be someone's man. And yet again, I don't then see a reaction. I don't see players going, "That was your man." Wake up, sharpen up, because it's okay doing it in this fixture, because you go 3-2 down, and it's Alloa. We should have enough if we sort of turn it up on the other end. But that can happen on Tuesday night against Bruges. You don't have that luxury of time and, well, we're better than them kind of thing. Bruges are no mugs. They'll be watching our last few games and thinking, any corner we get, we're on to one here. This is a massive chance.
They've already played against us as well. They've obviously friendly.
They'll know. Yeah,
they'll know, absolutely. So let's touch. Obviously, finally, Cortez got the fourth. A lot of people saying that he shouldn't be loaned out, which was the rumours. I'm kind of in two minds about that one, because while he would get some game time, and I think he'll make an impact, as we saw with Mikey Moore coming in, with Asgard making a substitute appearance. We've still got Gassama and Ant-Man in there as well. His game time is going to be limited, because he's probably fifth choice winger at that point, and that then becomes quite tricky. And if you said if he was to go out to I'd want him to go out to a Scottish Premiership club, but if he was to go out for a Scottish Premiership club and play 30 games this season, then you got to feel that would be much better for his development.
Yeah, I think him and Rice are in the exact same boat. They're okay and good enough to play maybe 20 minutes here and there for us, but
I'm not convinced Billy Rice is, to be honest. But
I mean, like, when we're comfortable in a game, if we ever get comfortable in a game again, because I've kind of forgot what that feels like. But if you're a couple of goals ahead here at home, you can fling Billy Rice on, you can fling Curtis on, not a problem. I don't think we can rely on them to be starters in the big games, and I would much rather see them go away and get, as you said, 30, 35 games, challenge themselves properly, fight for a first team place at a club, because I think they're both good enough and technical enough to play. Like you say, any sort of bottom six team, I think they don't walk into the team, but they certainly get a lot of game time. And then I just don't see a point of Curtis hanging about if he's going to be fifth choice, which he would be. You're spot on. So I think there's a lot of chance that Curtis could make it here, but he's not going to make it playing little 10, 15 minutes here and there. No. It's just pointless.
Don't think so. Just touching on Martin's comments after, didn't expect it to be perfect with 10 changes, but made it harder than it needed to be. Pleased with Igaman, Moore and Asgard. We'll go into Igaman and Asgard in a second. Iain, just to sort of round off the podcast, thinks that all three of those will play a big part for the international break. Obviously unhappy with the goals that were conceded. I don't know, so I think anyone was happy or would be happy with that. But overall, Iain, Igaman and Asgard both came on with the last 20 minutes or so. I think Hamza Igaman came on. He looks like he's lost quite a bit of weight over the last couple of weeks. He looks much more towards match fitness, which is good. And he just instantly made a difference that you don't see from Danilo or from Dessers in that position. And he just, his hunger, his appetite, his skill, his desire to just try and move us forward and try and score a goal it's night and day between them, isn't it?
He's just a very good footballer. It's not too complex. He's got skill, he's got craft, he's got a little bit of dig that I don't think Danilo has. It's quite an obvious contrast. He comes on, drops a shoulder, bit of pace to get in, has a shot. It's a pure shot, I think goes wide, but you said it's more than Danilo done for the last few games, let alone just today. So he just has that little special something. And it's a hard one because I still think he'll leave this month. I don't see him being here long term. I'd love him to be. I don't think he will be. And then if you're leaving yourself with Danilo and Dessers, who's suddenly somehow not injured, there's a massive problem up front for me. Asgard, great to see him I think surprised how tall he was. I knew he was tall, but even he came on and thought, he's a big guy. He won't get shoved off the ball a lot, but he looks very promising. Quiet, obviously, it's his first minutes, and it's a funny one because I don't know what injury either had. It was never made public, whether it was just a fitness thing or it was been an actual injury. So, good to see them. They could be massive for us these next few weeks because I think Asgard suits Russell Martin's style a lot more than any other central midfielder we've got. And that's maybe putting a bit of pressure on a guy who's played 20 minutes there, but he's got something. You can tell you have that eye, like he's a good footballer. It's the same thing with Higa, man. They make us a better team.
Really excited to see what he can do for us going forward. Iain, from Alloa in the Premier Sports Cup to Club Brugge in the Champions League. After that game, how are you feeling ahead of Tuesday? Can you take in from that game that gives you any confidence or any fears about Tuesday, I guess? Or is it just a case of actually it's such a different game, it's such a different approach, such a different atmosphere that it's hard to take anything from that forward?
This is the thing. It's not a full stadium today. It was a decent attendance, but it wasn't full. It's a B team's a little harsh, but there's maybe 6 or 7 guys in there who I don't expect to even see feature on Tuesday night, let alone starting. So very different team. Quite good that we've got a rest into guys like Raskin, Diomande, Gassama, Ant-Man. They've had a kind of full week here, fully recharged and ready to go. It's stupid, but it wouldn't shock me to win that game on Tuesday night more comfortably than we've just won this one. Which is wild considering the opposition, and Club Brugge are no mugs. They'll certainly be the best team we've played so far this season, but they've had a wee slip up in the league as well. They lost the game they were expected to win. They didn't exactly breeze past Salzburg in last round, so there's maybe a chance there. But I think we do need to win that game. I don't fancy going away to Belgium needing to win, given the style that we play compared to how we used to play in Europe. So yeah, a tough one. We've probably overshot what I thought we would do in Europe already. So that's one positive that Russell Martin's got going from so far. But it's Rangers in a European midweek game. Anything can happen. It's a strange one.
I think that's very fair. Right, we'll round off the podcast there. My thanks to Iain for joining us here on the gantry. My thanks to everyone for listening. If you haven't subscribed already, my guess would be that around half of you watching have not subscribed to the TII YouTube channel. So please make sure that you do that. It helps us massively and means you won't miss out on any of the content we've got coming up. We are back tomorrow night at 7:30 PM live on our YouTube channel, and we'll have all the build up and chat from the fallout from this game, and also the build up to Tuesday night at Ibrox as well. The game's coming thick and fast, and so is the content from TII. But my thanks to you all for watching. My thanks to Iain again. Until next time, if I can press the right button.